is how it treats its women and girls. It's women and girls. We create the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women. We can fight. I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me. Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school. Any society is how it treats its women and girls. Won't stand still. Your story is my story. Your story is my story.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-host Maria is joining us by Zoom. How are you, Maria? And then Donna will also be.
Hey there.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Happy Halloween.
Oh, I forgot it was Halloween. I've been under the weather for the last couple of days, so time has like morphed and melted and stuff. So are you sick to death of all the political ads and texts? And oh my gosh.
I'm sick of the text. I can honestly say I'm sick of the text.
And you can't get rid of them. You can put things on them all day long, and they still keep coming. So it's like
right. And you could stop to end. They just find a new phone number. It's like It's like, oh, she really didn't mean to break up with me. I'm just gonna keep stalking her.
That is exactly what it's like.
But
oh my gosh.
I will tell you what I'm really sick of. I am sick. It's not so much the Trump or Kamala Harris political ads that I'm sick of. Mm-hmm. I am sick of the lies of these Amendment 4 and Amendment 3 or anti-Amendment 4, anti-Amendment 3 commercial.
Yes.
I thought that yes, you had to put those on, but I thought there was a minimum requirement for veracity. You know what I mean? And then there was the one from Randall Terry. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
With these fake aborted fetuses on it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Randall Terry likes to play that one.
Well, of course, yeah. And he's not even from Florida. He's from somewhere else, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why you coming to messing our stuff? We got enough people trying to mess everything up as it is.
As Tim Walz would say, mind your own damn business.
Right, exactly. Mind your own damn business. The one that gets me, it's a middle-aged alleged OBGYN named Anna, A-N-A, and she sits up there with a straight face and says, Florida protects women now. We don't need this extreme amendment. And it's like...
but clearly we do, right? Like, clearly we need an amendment that keeps you out of our business, right? Florida doesn't really protect women.
It does not at all.
It's never protecting us. Right. Okay, because things would be a whole lot different in a whole lot of spaces if they were actually protecting us and not controlling us.
Exactly.
Women should enjoy the same relationship with their physician as men do.
Right.
And the government is not involved in a man's relationship with his doctor. So why are they involved in mine?
Right. Exactly. And it's like, The bold-faced lying is what's just killing me, because for how anybody, if I can find out which Anna physician OBGYN this is. I started looking yesterday, and there's like 4 or 5 pages of names, and then you have to go and click the websites and stuff like that to see if it's the same person. But it's like, no, I need to find out who this person is and what her. I imagine, and I went down lots of rabbit holes last night, but one rabbit hole that I fell into was Catholic lawyers and doctors against Amendment 4. And I have to imagine she's hooked up with that group some kind of way. And it's like, how are you advocating for women to just be chattel in Florida? I don't understand it. So there we are. And there's plenty more of them on the ballot. So, but yeah, DeSantis has tried everything he can possibly think of to get rid of this amendment, because I guess he thinks he has some kind of dog in the fight. I mean, what's his dog in the fight, Maria?
Control.
That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah.
Because I mean, anyone around the country, all they have to do is look at Florida for Project 2025.
Yep.
I mean, we are living that BS on a daily basis.
Exactly.
And I don't think that his political career is over. And these victories of his with respect to our judges and this like egregious legislation is what he's going to run on in the future. This is his moment of glory. And
he doesn't seem to have the kind of staying power that a Trump does. I mean, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he might not have the staying power personally, but we will be living the repercussions for a long time to come, and that's the thing that concerns me. And the reality of it is that, you know, this is the reason why it's important to run good candidates, on, you know, down the ballot, run good candidates for the state legislature, because when we don't, this is what we get. This is how we got a veto-proof majority Republican, conservative, right-wing legislature passing these laws.
Exactly. So, and I'm afraid that even if Amendment 4 does pass, because it needs 60% of the vote to pass, I'm afraid that they're going to do the same thing to this Amendment 4 that they did to the last Amendment 4, which
absolutely, I can guarantee it.
Yeah,
but they've done that. They've done that. I was talking to someone at the polling location the other day because I was down there, and I said there has never been. I said there's this thing that's really obvious to me in Florida, and that is the citizenry has to govern itself.
Right.
Meaning that we have to govern and legislate the state of Florida by passing constitutional amendments that we all vote on, right? And that the majority of us, 60%, agree on, whether we're Republicans or Democrats or MPAs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we then elect people who try to thwart what we want to do every chance they get.
Yep.
It makes no sense.
Happens over and over again.
We are literally governing ourselves for a group of politicians to tell us no.
Right. And then, speaking of the legislature, Fentress Driscoll, State Rep Fentress Driscoll, who's from Tampa, and I actually know her, she's like, even if they miss it by just a point, what is he celebrating that a majority of Floridians disagree with him? I mean, in a way there's no real victory here for the governor, and he really should just stay in his lane and let this be decided by the people, because he has interfered in this every possible way he can. We talked last week about a legal challenge that went up, and the group that is sponsoring Amendment 4 had to actually get an injunction against the governor because he was trying to mess everything up. And it's like, just let the people decide. Why are you afraid of the people that you're supposed to be representing? So it's very not surprising, but still discouraging nonetheless to see him going to all these links. And now they're starting to make noise about Amendment 3, which is the one that's going to legalize marijuana. Used to be you would see all these ads in support of Amendment 3, and now you're seeing ads against Amendment 3. So he doesn't want us to have weed, and he doesn't want us to have abortions.
But I think that he's not fighting the Amendment 3 one as much as he's fighting the abortion one.
Oh, no.
But the thing that I want to encourage people, if they're upset about it, I want them to stay mad. Yeah. I want them to remember in 2026 that this is the world in which he's created. Exactly. I want people to stay mad.
Yep.
Question is, will they?
Well, I will. I don't know about everybody else, but here is Donna Davis. Hey, Donna. I think she's in the wilds of...
I'm right here.
Still in the wilds of Minnesota?
I am. My goodness. Yes.
So we got less than a week to go before the election, and I wouldn't even dare to be optimistic about it, because it could go either way for real. And I don't understand that, but here we are. What's your perspective up from Minnesota?
Minnesota is Minnesota, right? You know, it's the land of the racist liberal, right?
Uh-huh.
You know, the middle class Caucasian that, you know, has a full refrigerator, mm-hmm. and a lot of ideas that aren't tested by mixing with people that don't look like them. But they're nice. They're more polite and more educated than Floridians, right?
Uh-huh.
And so it doesn't feel less America. It just feels more civilized.
Yeah, because civility is sorely lacking down south right now. Let me tell you. Oh my gosh,
Well, let me tell you about the Minnesota riot that I witnessed.
Ooh.
Where there was a hour-and-a-half long line in a pharmacy, and the lady asked the pharmacy tech at the register, who had the patience of Job, and you guys aren't going to close this window at 9:00, are you? And she goes, oh, no, we're going to serve everybody that's in line at that time. I mean, everybody was like, yes. So I had been there since 7, and it was 9, almost 9. And I had made it to the front of the line, and I sat to the side. And when the pharmacist came out and says at 8:59, we're closing this window now. People were like, I will have my meds now. I said, my God, if it was Florida, these chairs would be behind that thing. The police would have to come and shut this pharmacy down. And I said, was this what you guys, after it was all over and the pharmacist agreed, negotiated with the pharmacist to helping people that had urgent needs? I said, so this is the Minnesota riot of 2024? She said, yes, because we are, what did she said? We are nice, but firm. and so that was a master class on Minnesota nice, right?
Wow.
Yeah, they think the same things, but they don't act the same way. That's
right,
it.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, and meanwhile, it's just every person for himself down here, and it's like people will shoot you just as well as look at you. So
it's like gators dancing around, you know, with guns.
Right. Oh, the memes. Let's talk to Kaya in Clearwater. Hi, Kaya.
Hi, girls.
How you doing?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you.
You got to get some candy if you don't want your toilet paper by the kids. They'll tear your house up. All right, so I was just wanted to comment about Ron DeSantis, what Dr. Cole and yourself were saying about Ron DeSantis.
Uh-huh.
I can't stand that guy.
No.
I remember when he first won, when he ran against Gillum,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like he has a syphilis progression, because the day before the returns came in for the gubernatorial race with him and Gillum, I remember him crying, almost crying, real tears, on the news during the day about he's not a racist. He's like, I'm not a racist. I don't know if he was shocked that he won. He didn't, he was doubtful or whatever. And just the progression of how he's transformed into this creature filled with and drunk on power.
Yes.
It's just really, I hope somebody posted that clip of him when he was talking to the local news before he was elected, because he actually was crying because they were calling him a racist. And, well, he wasn't crying, but he looked like he was about to cry. I don't know why.
Well, if it walks like a duck,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But that's just like with Ron DeSantis, just how wicked he's become and how, his diseased his mind is, and what he does legislatively through his office to really cause harm
Yeah.
to people here in the state. It's disgusting. And then the other thing, my daughter, who's 13 years old, she said to me this morning, she says, Mom, has anybody considered that maybe Trump will lose? And I was like, maybe he will,
That'd be nice, but,
Yeah.
fool me once, shame on you.
Well, I hope Harris wins. I really do. But that's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Thanks so much for
Have a good
calling.
day.
You too.
Candy.
Yes. All right. Now, if candy comes in my house, it's not leaving my house. So, let's get to Fran in Largo. Hi, Fran.
Oh, hi. I noticed with these ads on TV, the ones against like Amendment 4 and there's one against Amendment 3 where that appointee of DeSantis, that Dr. Lopato.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And he tries to insinuate that smoking marijuana will interfere with your spirituality. That's just, that's.
Let's just make things up as we go along.
And it shows you though that they're still pandering to evangelicals. Get that evangelical vote. I am tired of evangelicals and this Christian nationalism. This just goes against everything that this country stands for. I stand for separation of church and state. And that they have the gall to try to strangle us with this stuff. It's just it's sickening. And anyways, that's all I had to say. I'm just tired of these stupid ads that lie.
Yes.
And I voted a ways back before the hurricane even came. Voted by mail. So
oh, good.
I voted yes on both of those amendments. So. I'm sure a lot of other people did. So it's a little late for them to be trying to get into that game, too, I think, last minute stuff. So, anyways, okay, that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thanks, Fran. And early voting is going on through the weekend in Sunday. And if you don't know where the early voting is happening, look up the supervisor of elections of the county that you're in, and it will give you all the locations. And locations are plentiful. So that's my plan for Saturday, going out to vote. And so it's just, we need campaign reform really bad in this whole country, because all the money that is going into all these shenanigans. I mean, number one, it's cost prohibitive for anybody who doesn't have gazillions of dollars or gazillion of dollar supporters to run for president or any other office. Even city council. My God, in the last city council race we had, one person who lost had spent over $1 million for a city council seat. You know, it's like, number one, where do they all get the money from? Number two, it's, why is it so one-sided? That's why we don't have, third parties, because the rules are rigged to such a point that you can't really get a third-party candidate in there. Thoughts, Maria, Donna?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts. And I think that it's time. This doesn't signal to me. Everybody is saying, and I'm going to say it again, I say it every week on this show. People are talking about the rise of Donald Trump and his ilk as if it is the development of something that hasn't been. It is not.
Right. It's always been there. He just gave voice to it and made it socially acceptable.
Again. Mm-hmm. Now, you must remember that just about 50 or so years ago, right? Just before I came to exist, we were doing this in America. We were racist openly. Mm-hmm. We were openly misogynistic. Mm-hmm. Women had very limited rights, and most women, married women, showed up and young daughters that were not yet married, showed up more as property and accoutrement than they showed up as individuals that had autonomy and agency. So we've always had these in xenophobic, right? Like we had xenophobia, right? So we've always had these things, and they haven't been hidden necessarily, right? And then we enshrined them, we encoded them, right? We codified them into our systems of governance, into our social codes. And we've done this since the inception of this country.
Yes.
I was enshrined in the Constitution as 3/5 of a person. Mm-hmm. So when y'all sound crazy to me, right? People just sound crazy to me when they're like, oh my God, look at this guy. This is a terrible thing. How could he? I don't understand how this, you absolutely do. You're acting as if you went to a place where there were all of these pious, holy people, mm-hmm. and someone stole someone's wallet and everyone's shocked. That's not where you are, guys.
Right.
You've always been in the country that is now saying we'd like to go back to our roots. We'd like women back in the kitchen. We'd like our women with high heel shoes on serving us dinner, right? We'd like for you to have as many babies as we will give you. We will give you these babies. We would like for Black people to stop asking for stuff. We'd like for Puerto Ricans to go away. We're done with them being a colony. They're not a good colony anymore.
Right.
There's no use for them. So they're just a trash heap in the middle of the ocean. The people of Puerto Rico has always been treated like a colony. And they had a Republican governor. Not only do they have... I feel like no one's been looking. And I don't want to go on a rant. I think I just did. But you guys, this is where you are. Like, you know how that little map says you are here?
Yes.
Your GPS showed you the little blue dot, right? You have always been in that country. The people are just having different conversations now. And if you'll recall, last thing, we tried to tell you all this during BLM. We said, listen, we got to get free.
Yes.
Get free time. We're going to get free of the misogyny. We're going to get free of the racism. We're going to get free of the xenophobia. We're going to get free of the hatred of poor people. We're going to get free of systems that create poor people. We're going to get good education. We're going to build some libraries, read some books. Mm-hmm. And then we did the exact opposite of all of those things. The backlash has been massive. Here we are.
Yep. Amen. All right. If you want to join the conversation, give us a call at 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. So what are we, what's next for the next couple of, it's just going to be such a mass push by both sides that you might as well just turn off all your devices for the next week because and not only that, it's like whichever side wins, the other side is going to be royally angry about it. And so, I'm afraid of repercussions from that. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I think we're all raised with the ideal of, our country is great and our country is strong and blah, 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 blah. But you're right. I mean, it's a country that's built on colonization. And that kind of mentality really hasn't gone away.
Literally, we're standing on the blood and bones of the people who built this country and the people whose land this was. And I know that sounds tired because we've revisited this 100,000 million times in mass media in the last several years since the zenith of BLM, circa 2016. But that's what it is, y'all. Like, you can't just murder a family, take over their house, and leave their bodies in the living room and say this is fine, right? At some point, this has to be addressed. And I feel like this is our reckoning. Like, do you like how this feels? Do you like how that smells? Do you like how this looks, right? Is this who you want to be for the rest of your existence as a nation? Is this who you want to be? I think Americans are asking the wrong questions. They're asking, how could this man come in here and he's one individual without millions and millions of people. Half of the people in this country are supporting this guy, just about half.
Right.
Half of registered voters are supporting this guy. He is not an island unto himself. This is an energy that he's just tapped into. He's speaking into the people's listening.
Right.
Jesus.
All right. Let's talk to Jack in Tampa. Hi, Jack.
Oh, hey, good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Yeah, I'm a 65-year-old white dude, progressive, politically. I lived overseas. I lived in China for 12 years, so I've lived in a repressive, totalitarian state, and it ain't pretty. And, to me, when I look at and I remember way back in the politics in around 1980, that there was a shift, there was a turn in the tone of the politics way back then. And I think what you're seeing now is basically 40 or 50 years of a purposeful strategy on the part of primarily the Republican Party to basically use distortions and lies to stoke fear however they could and to mobilize votes, and that distortion and lies and fear turns into, over time, into, guess what, anger, hatred, and now violence.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing, and I think, Aldous Huxley, the guy that wrote, Brave New World, and some quote from him that I ran across recently, and somebody to the effect, and it's not pretty, but I think it's the truth, and I think that, repressive totalitarian regimes have understood this, like the Nazis understood this. And it is basically that the vast majority of people pretty much want to be told what to do and what to think, and they will happily go along with things as long as they feel like they're part of, the end. As long as they're on the team, and you kind of keep them reasonably well fed and clothed and housed. And at this point, you reap what you sow.
Right.
The point where, back in the 80s, I remember watching George H.W. Bush kind of look really uncomfortable when Lee Atwater, who was like a fire breather, this is the guy that kind of went after, Michael Dukakis. I think it was the guy that went after Dukakis. And, basically there was a strategy way back then to paint. There was no loyal opposition, basically. Anybody who was a Democrat was basically an enemy of the country, and it was purposely trying to destroy America. And every single leading Republican Democratic politician since then has been painted like that. So to me, and what happened back then, the Republican kind of patricians kind of turned up, held their nose and went along with it because the consultants said that it worked, and it did. And then what happened, you had the right-wing media machine kind of kick in and start churning out huge amounts of money based on this. And that's kind of, and then what happened is basically, first you had, and then you have basically, now the Republican Party is filled with true believers. It's people who are basically believe all this stuff. And Trump he's basically just the most obvious and clear, example, the metastasization. He's just the latest kind of tumor, basically. But this process has been laid for decades. And unfortunately, I think people who kind of hope that if Trump loses, and I'm certainly one of them, think, well, this whole thing's going to go away. It ain't going to go away. The machinery's there. The hatred is there, and you've got basically what's effectively a mass psychosis. I mean, look at the definition of psychosis. It's basically believing, fervently believing things, and typically with kind of fear and violence behind it, that are demonstrably false. I mean, you've got a huge percentage of the population that basically is living in a different world. I mean, they believe stuff that's clearly false. So, I mean, this is ugly.
Yeah.
And anyway, that doesn't sound particularly encouraging, but I'm certainly hopeful that Kamala Harris wins, and I've certainly voted for her, and I gave her money and stuff like that. But I feel like I'm watching, basically a democratic society basically happily, vote for somebody who's going to do what he can to basically take the democracy away from them.
Right. Okay. Thanks for calling, Jack.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye. Maria has sent a chat that says we can reduce everything he says into 2 words. Ronald Reagan. Yes. Ronald Reagan is... And at the time, he looked like all friendly and everything. And it's like, man, and now everybody that's in the Democratic Party now, pretty much, if you're a centrist Democrat, you're pretty much a Reagan Republican. So thoughts on that? Donna? That was...
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I was on mute doing 5 things. I think that, yes, Reagan Republican, but also the ghost of Christmas past. Once again, I have to keep saying it. I'm going to keep it so everybody gets it, right? This is not a thing that just happened. And Maria is absolutely right. Ronald Reagan was the beginning. It was the launch of this current plan.
It gave people permission. Ronald Reagan gave people permission to be shallow, to be intellectual.
Yes.
Yes.
And to be all show and no go.
Right.
With no rigor, right. No serious rigor, no interest in public service.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Complete vanity.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, he was a movie star to start with. I mean,
without Ronald Reagan opened the door for all of this.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Let's talk to Kirk in St. Petersburg. Hi, Kirk.
Hey, good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
I've got 2 questions. My first one is, how can Trump vote in Florida? He's a 34-count felon. And my second question would be, does anybody know who's really pulling the strings for the Republican Party? I'd like to know who's like the king of the hill that does all this directive to all of their Republican representatives. That's really bothered me for a while. I'd like to put my finger on it if you could help.
That's a good question, because I think once upon a time it might have been Dick Cheney, but the Christo-fascists came along and took it out from under him. So I don't know who's pulling the strings right now. But
that was the early 2000s, y'all. Remember early 2000s, like circa 2004, George Bush was putting people out at the town halls that were dissenting with the Iraq War.
Yes.
So that was when this iteration of, I said what I said, and I don't care if it goes against the supposed principles of this country, right? This is what you're getting. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do what I want to do. George Bush ushered that era in, right? Dragging people out of the rallies and stuff. because I was one such person before it was cool. Right, he came to my little suburban hamlet in affluent suburban hamlet in Denver, Colorado, Highlands Ranch, which at the time was the most was the Tony zip code of the state, and he thought we were going to behave, and we did not behave. So George Bush was a part of that. Just, hey, you know what? I'm going to openly say these things, and then he got some the equivalent of what you would call a cover, like a beard, for racism with Condoleezza Rice, telling the story of how he said, how No Child Left Behind was born. So we can't forget that current era. Then there was Focus on the Family in Colorado Springs. And for those who don't know, Colorado Springs houses the Air Force Academy, and it's also where like every version of the current Bible is made.
Oh.
So all of those, they're all in Colorado Springs.
Even the $50 Trump Bible?
Probably, because that's where they're making them. So that combination, that Christo-fascism, it has its home there. So Focus on the Family, which was the Project 2025, like that group that created like the Heritage Foundation.
Right.
They were behind that movement. Right. And then the homeschooling movement that started in the 80s. Era.
Yes.
So all of these things were the building blocks for that Steve Bannon came into the White House with Donald Trump to see come into fruition. And if you haven't been watching Steve Bannon, because we always watch the top line, mass media is for, hey, this is look up here. That's what's going on. Well, Steve Bannon is quietly raising an army.
Right.
He's quietly and unabashedly raising an army. And if someone goes and interviews him, he will tell the person that's interviewing him that whether Trump wins or loses, we're here to stay. We're going to clap back after November the 5th. Like, we're coming. So you saw this, the thing that no one's talking about in Tampa, where this lady came out to tell this man something about his dog, and he beats her with a steel pole. And the DA's office in Tampa will not bring charges against him, even though it's on video from the Ring camera.
Why?
That's where we're going.
Why won't you? Oh, because she must be black.
She is black, yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I totally missed this story, so I'm like, what?
It's out there. Nobody will talk about it because it's election season, and none of the politicians, and I want you guys to hear me very clearly. Your problematic faves are not responding to pleas from the community to help with this.
Yeah.
Just let me be clear. The people who are running for office, the black people who are running for office, are completely tight-lipped on this. I'm going to post that video today when I get around to it.
Okay.
Today or tomorrow, the video. And I want you guys to look at it and tell me why you think that's not being addressed in Tampa. 5 years ago, people have been in the streets.
Yeah. Do post it. I'm going to go looking for it too. Of course, I've got a lot of things to do before then, but yeah, we can put that on the Surly Voices page too, and maybe we can raise the roof like we did with that dude in Clearwater. Got him.
Well, Quentin Robinson, before you go to this caller, Quentin Robinson, just want to say this on the air, who is a reparations guy. He ran for school board, I think, or city council a few years back, but no, we didn't want him. But he's the person that reached out to me and said, hey, where's BLM? And I was like, dude, y'all taught me a lesson. I'm in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Y'all showed me what you really were about. So I said, okay, I'm going to let y'all have it then. Go ahead. You and Jay Passmore and all the rest of those people, you guys go and do your thing. And I took off, and I'm organizing, for money now because it wasn't working the other way. But thank you, Quentin, for bringing that to our attention. And we are going to try to, put some eyes on this.
Yeah, make some noise about it. All right, Kirk, thank you so much.
Well, could I revert back to my first question? Do you think the legislature will change the law to allow Trump to vote here in Florida?
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
No.
So if you're a sexual predator and you're in Georgia and you step over that line into Florida, you are now not a sexual predator in Florida.
No, that's not how it works. Anything that's constructed will be constructed solely for Trump. And you're right, he shouldn't be able to vote because now he's a 36-time felon. But he's Trump. He'll get to do whatever he wants, like he always does.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think we're in our last days here as a democratic republic. I really do. I hate saying it, but I just pray for us all.
Oh, yep. Same here, Kirk.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very much, lady. Keep up the good work. You hear?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that people have sat here before and said, yep, this is the end. This is the end of the democracy. Because the difference between now and in the past is you've got a huge faction of people who are dedicated to making it that way, to trying to turn us into some kind of theocracy. I don't know. Chris in Clearwater. Hi, Chris.
Well, good morning. My underlying point is, regardless of who's selected, one thing is certain, that we, the people, are still in big trouble. So we have to buckle up, Buttercup, work together on the issues on which we agree, and patiently speak with each other to find our ways. Because both Trump and Harris are blackmailable, as I've mentioned in a previous call, by the Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell child pedophile ring. And so, it's not choosing the lesser of two evils. It's choosing the lesser of two pedophiles or children.
No. Kamala Harris is not a pedophile. Sorry.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh.
I said pedophile promoter. And, for instance, I mentioned this in the past, this article from the AP entitled "Harris Blasts and Takes Money from Epstein's Law Firm" by the AP on July 15th, 2019, article by Brian Slodisco. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Then again, we have under Trump, Alex Acosta, who was Trump's labor secretary in 2019. He resigned just 6 days before that article I mentioned, that I just mentioned, was published. He resigned due to outrage when he was the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida, and according to the DOJ, used quote-unquote poor judgment in 2008 by offering an egregiously lenient plea deal to Jeffrey Epstein, where he would have gotten just 13 months in prison and 12-hour work release privileges and secured immunity from federal prosecution. But Ghislaine Maxwell is the ninth daughter of Robert Maxwell, the Israeli spy.
Okay, you're going way off course here, Chris. Land the plane, because I got other folks in the queue.
Yeah, well, they're both blackmailable. And, the things that I hear, the concerns I hear about Trump are also things that I've seen in the present administration back September 27th of this year. Department of Defense Directive 5240.01 allows the U.S. military, and I verified this, I've read it, despite what the fact checkers say. It is true that the U.S. military granted the use of lethal force against U.S. citizens. So if that's a concern about Trump, it's already been done by this administration.
Okay. And I got to let you go, Chris, because the queue's backed up, but thanks for calling. Bye-bye. All right. Let's talk to Stephen in St. Petersburg. Hi, Stephen.
Good morning. I wanted to address two quick issues. And like I said, people forget that we have to remember the political duopoly in America, the uniparty as they call it. They agree on everything. It's the same product, even though people want to be divided against their neighbor. And your neighbor is not your enemy.
Are you on the golf course or something, Stephen? I keep hearing wind.
I'm going to go in the house. I'm going to go in the house. It's windy here. But the MAGA people, is so-called, are just like the people that are going to vote for the neoliberal candidate, okay? They want the same things for the country, okay? Now, you have to understand the military-industrial complex, big pharmaceuticals, the fossil fuel industry, and Wall Street, Walmart, Amazon, you might as well throw them in there. They run the country, and it doesn't matter who you vote for. I mean, that's the reality, the stark reality of the situation. And they'll argue, the parties will put on a little show, and they'll argue about identity politics, and these issues have merit, but it keeps the people divided. Our enemy is the ruling billionaire establishment.
Of course.
Right. And so it doesn't matter who's in the White House. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Gotcha.
Now, one subject I wanted to just address, this, I heard a caller earlier, I think Fran, talking about Christian nationalism. Okay. In the last 248 years since the revolution in 1776, Bible-believing Christians started the abolition movement, which was considered radical and left-wing, that you would be against slavery. They were against child sweatshops. They were for prohibition of alcohol. They wanted, they supported the suffragette movement, the women's movement, unions. If you look at the history of biblical Christianity and the denominationalism in the U.S., now that was steady even through FDR when he was president. When he became president, he said, I'm a Christian first and then a Democrat. What changed is when Reagan came to power and neo-evangelicalism married Reaganism.
That's revisionist. That's revisionist history, but I'm not going to do that today. Absolutely. Yes. Southern strategy. The Methodist Church was founded in racism and maintaining the balance of power, though the population of some Africans outstripped whites in some states like South Carolina. Like a lot of terrible stuff, almost said another word, was done under the flag. Starting from the medieval times.
Right.
Let us. Why are you reviving
the Crusades? All right. So, Stephen.
Christianity in America.
Yeah, bro. I'm sorry. Not too much.
Stephen.
We got to move on.
Yeah, we have to move to the next caller because.
Read Howard Zinn,
Stephen.
People's History.
All right.
Howard Zinn, Stephen. A People's History. Read it, please.
All right. Here is Paul in Riverview. Hi, Paul.
Oh, good morning, ladies. My favorite show.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Trump's allowed to vote in Florida because he was not convicted in Florida, but that's not why I called. When I go to vote, I get a mail-in ballot, and I get to study it for weeks and days and at my leisure, and then I put all my marks in there, and then I put big red X's across it because I'm not planning to mail it. I take it to the walk-in election polling place, and then I transfer my data, and I show everybody I'm not trying to vote twice. I'm just using this as a study guide. And everything works fine for years and years and years doing that. This time they wanted to take it from me. They said, you can't bring that in. And I said, well, it's my property. Why can't I? And they go, well, you can't. And I said, well, how come nobody's told me this? So they say, well, you can take a picture of it and use that. And I go, what is the difference?
Yeah, what is the difference?
And I'm not going to surrender it because then you're going to see how I voted. And why do you have these secrecy ballot envelopes? And you're going to see no, I'm not going to do it. So I did not surrender it, but I did take pictures and put it back in my car. But I even offered to give them the barcode, and I said, look, I scribbled all over it. I'm not trying to vote twice, so don't accuse me of that. It's do you want me to hold up the line for 20 minutes studying each amendment when I can do it at home, and then I know just how to vote?
Right.
So I didn't get a proper answer. One lady who worked there said, you can't do that, and the other one said, oh, there's no problem. So I don't know. I was confused.
Huh. Yeah, some consistency there would be great.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for letting us know, Paul.
I really like to know how that works because I want to keep doing that because it works. It works great.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think a lot of people do that. They take pictures. I don't think a lot of people bring paper in necessarily, but I know that several people take pictures of it. But you can only scan one piece of paper. It's not like you can scan the other one.
Well, it's an actual ballot thing. It's got, well, at any rate, I don't want to be breaking the law, and I do want my vote to count. And now I'm not sure. Will it count? Do they know who I am? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. So anyway, thanks for the show.
Thank you for bringing that up, Paul.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And yeah, we had another listener write in and say Trump is allowed to vote in Florida because Florida defers to the laws of the state in which the felonies were issued. New York allows felons to vote, so Trump can vote here. So why can they vote in New York and not in Florida? That's, it's like, why do we put all these restrictions on folks? Anyway, Kevin in Sarasota. Hi, Kevin.
Good morning, ladies. I know 3 points. The sample ballot the guy brought into the polling station, it has sample, not for voting, stamped on all pages.
Right.
No one's going to mistake that for a real ballot. And then the real purpose of my call, 2 points, is the state's hypocrisy in their commercials about anti-Amendment 3, saying it's a big monopoly that's behind it, when the state had no problems giving the Seminole Indian tribe a monopoly on sportsbook betting and kept that as secret as possible. Consider that. And then the second thing is our undecided voters, quote-unquote undecided voters. These are the same people that told others, I'm doing my own COVID vaccine research as a deflection for saying, no, I'm anti-vax, but I'm going to sound like I'm really studying this. They're not. The undecided voters, they are decided. They have decided. It's not like we're comparing a Buick with a big V8 versus a Ford with a giant four-cylinder, or comparing trunk space. It's, splitting hairs like that. No, it's pretty clear cut. So undecided voters, you're lying. You have decided. All right. Thanks, lady.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. Here's Wendy in Seminole, and she is a poll worker. Hi, Wendy.
Hey, I just wanted to tell him that is not correct. It is true. You cannot take a proper ballot, into the voting booth. And what we tell you to is write it down on a piece of paper, take a picture of it with your phone. Give us the ballot. If he doesn't want to give us the ballot, he can go out to his car, leave the ballot in his car, throw it away at home, and come back in and say, I do not have a ballot. And it's done.
Ah, gotcha.
So that's the way the rule goes, and I just don't like, misinformation being spread.
Join the team, Wendy, yeah.
Yeah, well, I listen to you guys every day, and you're great, and, I love you, and keep up the good work, and it's all good.
All right. Well, thank you.
Get through everything.
Thank you so much for calling.
That which doesn't kill us makes us stronger.
Yep, there you go. All right.
Or more dead.
Or more dead. Well, you can only get so dead. I mean.
Yeah, you only got one chance to go.
All right. Thanks so much, Wendy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you can only get dead once that I'm aware.
Well, unless you count the figurative deadness of watching Americans forget their history and pretend as if Donald Trump is this newfangled thing to gawk at and be exasperated about.
Right, exactly.
Hilarious.
So, let's see. I'm looking to see if I got all the emails. All right. This is the caller that told us about the ballot thing. Hi again. My mail-in ballot does not say sample. Oh, I know why. Because they think you're going to mail it in. Maybe. I don't know. That's a little bit more than I can digest right now. I haven't had enough coffee yet. And that's okay. So we gotta wind down because Frank is about to give me the finger. Predictions, ladies, for the outcome of the big one.
I can't say. I don't know. I'm leaning toward Trump victory that leaves everyone aghast and with their mouths agape. But anything is possible at this point. But it looks like he's edging her out slowly.
Maria, what's your prediction?
I think it's going to come down to Pennsylvania.
Wow.
It is. Absolutely. I've been telling y'all that for 2 months.
Yes, you have. You very much have. All right. So join us next week where we will be discussing said outcome if we still have airwaves left.
Discussing how Trump won Pennsylvania, like I told you.
Yeah. And that it's like it just blows my mind. So yeah, I don't know how he can have so much support, but he does, and there it is. And hopefully, cooler heads prevail. But at least, hopefully, we get Amendment 3 and Amendment 4 with 60%, if that's what you want, and if that's not what you want, well. I guess you'll be happy too. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, and join us again next week at 10 o'clock on Thursday.